I was working a daylight patrol. Our patrols are 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Very, very quiet day. Call went out for a active shooter in progress at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs. And people started going en route to that call.
Sheriff's office arrived within four minutes. I can tell you 4 minutes is a long time during an active shooter situation.
And so we noticed that the back door on the church was ajar, and I made entry. The sheriff's deputy was second behind me, and my sergeant was third, and the game warden stayed outside to cover up flank. Once we were inside, there was a small room. It immediately smelled like gunpowder and blood, very acrid smell. Moving towards the back of the church and clearing all our sectors. Come to find out later that the shooter had already departed location. And so once this was cleared, we began to do our second job, which was to try to save the lives of the people that were injured that day. I had 2 tourniquets on my plate carrier, quick clot, halo seals, the high fin seals also. I had Israeli bandages, but in that short period of time, the stuff I could fix right then and there was, halo seals and tourniquets. Put them on as quickly as possible. Doing your best ability to figure out what you can do with your tools, your training, and what people there you can help. And so I found this 15-year-old girl, through and through gunshot wound to the side, through and through gunshot wound to the leg. I put a tourniquet high and tied on her left leg, and then I put a occlusive dressing on her to prevent any tension pneuma from setting in. I moved on to another person I saw in the back who was shot, turned out to be 5 or 6 times, 19-year-old male. It was extreme trauma. You could see it was really bad. And so I put a tourniquet on his left arm. Before this happened, the first medical personnel, which was actually the assistant fire chief for Vernia Fire, came in, and I handed off the 15-year-old female to him and got her out of there. Medical personnel was already there by this time, and so we just held it as a crime scene, let them do their job, prevent people from interfering, that sort of stuff. So we were actually talking about going to a stop the bleed course, but this happened just prior to the incident, and the event was scheduled for after the incident. Prior to that day, all the tourniquets I had were self-bought, and I always carry a tourniquet on my person, on duty and off duty, 100% of the time. And I carry 4 tourniquets in my vehicle. I carry 2 on my plate carrier, 1 in a bailout bag, and 1 on a shooter belt. Just do what we can outside of a classroom setting to try to prepare for that. Have the equipment ready and have the knowledge, skill set ready to handle something like that. This is a small community out here, and so everybody that we work with, we typically know. I mean, the volunteer fire chief that I, handed the 15-year-old female off to, he works up here at the high school, and so he's a really good friend of mine. I see him a lot. We get to know these people really well, and so always be prepared for the situation. And whether that be to stop the bleed, I think every officer needs to. You need to seek it out yourself, because it could be your life you're saving or your neighbor's life. Working out here, you can fix a gunshot wound. You can fix trauma until EMS gets there, because the time between law enforcement getting there and EMS getting there can be pretty significant. People can die in that period. Train. Get out there, train. Make yourself ready for this day. Our population in the city of Vernia is 1,259. Okay? This didn't happen in our community, but it easily could have, and you have to be ready for this. I think, talking to people after the situation, I think the reason why I processed everything that we went through that day so well is because I was ready for that situation. I walked in, I had a purpose, I knew what to do, I knew who to help, who I could help, I knew who I was and my abilities, and we helped that day. We helped to save some people. All because we had taken the steps beforehand to try to get ready for something like this. And that's the most important thing that any person, civilian, officer, medical student, military person can do, is train and be prepared, because you don't know when you're going to be tested.